the fuel log. So why do we have a fuel log? Central Paving on a yearly basis probably spends in the ballpark of $1 to $2 million just to run our equipment and trucks. So the fuel log is a way at which we measure that and apply it to particular jobs. So we use the fuel log also for tracking services and job costing and estimating future work, tracking fuel economy, writing off off-road fuel, and theft protection. It has a lot of uses. So for those of you that have not seen the fuel log, I will show it to you here. This is on my computer. It should look pretty much identical on your phone. Working from left to right, it's pretty simple. First you put your fuel in. If you're fueling at the yard, we use the master meter on the tank. Use 4 digits, no decimals. If you fuel at the gas station, start out with whatever the meter reads, which is usually 0. So 0, and then whatever the total gallons is when you're done for fuel out. Your name is your name. If your name is not in here, let Taylor, Aaron, or Mike know. We can put it in. The truck and equipment number should be written next to the hour meter or the speedometer. The job number. This job number is the job that the fuel was burnt on. So if we fuel every night like we're supposed to, it'll be the job that you burnt that fuel on that day. If you do multiple jobs, pick the one that that equipment or that truck got used the most on. These 3 right here are all what they call data validated, so you cannot put an entry in that's not on the list. I believe on most of these, or at least on job number, if you cannot find the job number, put not found. If you burn it for the office, put office. If it was the shop, use the shop. But please, if there is any job number applicable, find it and use it. Miles is the miles on the truck. Hours is the hours on the equipment. And then fuel out, like I talked about earlier, is the end meter reading when you are all done fueling. It automatically puts the date in for you, and if you do it all right, you'll get a mint. So, just an example, I'm filling at the gas station. My name is Aaron. So, red is bad. I tried to make it as helpful as possible, and that if you're missing something or you did something wrong, it'll let you know. It's not perfect, but it gets you close. Say I'm filling truck 17. I was running around to look at, let's say, this job. The current miles on the truck are 725. Let's do that. And then my fuel out, I pumped 32 gallons. Mint. So, pretty simple. Also in the fuel log, there is a copy of the truck audit if you were not already aware. This is what we look for in you guys helping maintain the trucks. So every week or so, I'll copy all your entries and I'll put them in the fuel dump, which is just every entry we've ever had. There's a lot of them. This is where it pulls out the information for services. This is what Mike uses. We currently have 102 vehicles or equipment that get tracked for service. It is a lot. That's why another reason why it's very important we do the fuel log accurately. An example we see a lot is if you mistakenly put in the miles, it will throw off the service. Say you accidentally put a 3 instead of a 1. It would tell us this truck's due for service when it's really not. So putting in accurate hours and miles is very important. So that's what the shop uses the fuel log for. And then on the office side of things, we use the fuel log to track how much we spent on equipment and trucks and dump trucks and pickup trucks based off the job. So given a certain job number, it puts out exactly what we had to spend on equipment and dump trucks and pickup trucks per job. So There's a couple because we just started this. An example on this job was we had 26 hours on P9, which I don't think is accurate for this, which was a one-day job. So that means that the last time this paver didn't get fuel or got fueled, it didn't get put in the log, which then throws everything off. Same thing with R2. I highly doubt we put 47 hours on R2 on this one job. So every time we fuel, we have to put an entry into the log, and every time you get back to the yard, make sure that everything is getting fueled. It is a little bit more work than I'm sure you're used to, but it saves a lot of work in the long run and helps us run a better company. So there's a lot going on the back end of the fuel log. We don't just file this away and forget about it. It has a very active role in the ongoing activities of this company. So a couple key points. Make sure we log every gallon of fuel that is pumped in the name of Central Paving, unless you're pumping less than 5 gallons. I don't want this to be a nickel and dime and burden to you guys, so if you're filling up a pump sprayer, don't worry about it. You're topping off something small. Don't worry about putting a fuel entry in. Other than that, there should be no reason that you pump fuel and do not fill out a fuel log. I believe now we have meters on all of these slip tanks. So if you fill out of a slip tank, make sure you fill out the fuel log. The best way to do this is when you fill your slip tank to reset most of them have a dial that resets it, some have a button that you hold to reset it, but reset so it should read out 0 gallons, and then as you use that, use the running total. So the first thing you fuel will be 0 fuel in and like say 20 fuel out. The next one will be 20 fuel in and 30 fuel out. That way the meter is an accurate representation of how much fuel has been pumped out of that slip tank. And then at the end of the day, when you fuel it up, simply reset the meter when you fuel it up. What else is there? Kind of a metaphor that I found useful was that fueling up and filling out the fuel log is like closing out a bar tab. As soon as you fuel up, it locks in the numbers that then tell us how close we are to service and how much we used said equipment or truck on an individual job. So common mistakes we see, guys will put in the wrong truck or equipment number. Guys will copy the entry above fuel out as their fuel in. That can throw stuff off, so make sure you read the meter every time you fuel. Combining entries, don't hop on the guy in front of you's fuel log. When I see 80 gallons getting pumped into a pickup truck, it's a head scratcher because I know those trucks don't hold 80 gallons. Not logging any fuel, like I said, make sure anything more than 5 gallons we log. Make sure you double check your fuel log entry before you close out of the app. A lot of guys will put the fuel out in and then not hit the checkbox or click out of the cell, and it won't lock in that number yet. So make sure you do that. Make sure there's no red before you exit out. Also, leaving the fuel log open and then putting your phone in your pocket. It's the same thing as a butt dial. Sweaty thighs kind of put in some numbers and erase some stuff sometimes that they shouldn't. Couple tips and tricks. So as soon as you get into the yard, check the fuel in meter reading and then start fueling, and then fill out the other information while you wait for the fuel to get pumped. That helps speed things up. There's lots of things to do while waiting for your fuel to be pumped, such as cleaning out the cab, cleaning windows, windshields, mirrors, cleaning all kinds of things. If you're having trouble with your phone in the yard, there is Wi-Fi. If it's a data service thing, the name is CP Central Paving CP Tower, and the password is SealCoat1. Also, there's a laptop out there that should be connected. You can do your fuel log entry in there as well. If you're unable to complete your fuel log, please text Mike the information that we need, and he'll get it put in. And if the laptop for some reason resets and closes you out, the computer password is sealcoat1, and to log into Google Drive to get to the fuel log is schedule at Central Paving LLC, and the password is schedule19, same as your calendar and all the rest. So that was a lot. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I look forward to a beautifully working fuel log when everybody puts in their entries right. If you have any questions, I'd happily answer. Any ideas on how we can make the fuel log easier to use, more than happy to listen and improve those. This formatting should be pretty close to final. I don't plan on changing it much in the future. So, yeah, thanks guys.